United States government announced a plan to halt sales of farmland to China. And it comes as Oklahoma law enforcement deals with a rise in illegal marijuana grows in their state, with ties all the way up to the Chinese government. That plan to ban farm sales will be helpful to the mission of the Oklahoma Bureau of Narcotics, according to spokesman Mark Woodward. Oklahoma legalized medical marijuana in 2018. Woodward tells Straight Arrow News that after a few years of legalization, the state saw a large influx of marijuana farms, and some of those calls came from outside Oklahoma.
Some of this started because we would start getting calls from law enforcement in other states saying that they stopped a truck, maybe a refrigerator truck, for example, for whatever violation, and it's full of marijuana, and the driver says it came off of a marijuana farm in Oklahoma. So that obviously is a problem because our law says that everything grown here has to be sold here.
That led the Bureau to form a full-time unit to investigate this issue. They found law firms were encouraging people to come to Oklahoma, saying the marijuana laws were very loose.
The law was written in a way that even our partners in California said it was too liberal and would never pass because it didn't have any safeguards in place.
But the laws did pass. And by the end of 2022, Oklahoma saw around 8,400 pot farms, up from 3,000 just 2 years earlier. The law did state 75% of farm ownership had to belong to someone who lived in the state for at least 2 years. But that proved easy to get around with what's known as ghost ownership.
These law firms even said, don't worry about that part. We will find somebody to put down as your 75% owner. You just bring your 25% here and pay us a fee, and you can get up and going.
Woodward says behind those ghost owners is a network of Chinese organized crime tied to human trafficking, sex trafficking, and violence. That came to a head in November 2022 when a Chinese national shot and killed 4 other Chinese nationals at a farm northwest of Oklahoma City.
Basically, a Chinese assassin showed up on the farm. He was told, collect the $300,000 that we're owed, and if they don't pay, kill everybody, and we'll just replace those workers and managers.
This is being controlled at its highest levels by major Chinese organized crime groups that function all over the world, including, say, the 14K Triad, which is a very well-known Chinese organized crime group, which has open links to the Chinese state. There's a particular boss of the 14K Triad who has been sanctioned publicly by the U.S. government for his support for the Chinese Communist Party. And
that's ProPublica reporter Sebastian Rotella, who's published a whole series detailing the links between the Chinese government and crime here in the U.S. He says the Chinese state maintains a working relationship with Chinese organized crime for a variety of reasons.
They're also involved with U.S. officials. They're people who contribute to political campaigns. So the thesis is that Chinese organized crime and the Chinese state have increasingly converged in the past 10 years, and that the Chinese state uses Chinese organized crime for activities like political influence, like funding espionage.
Meanwhile, back in Oklahoma, law enforcement has spent the last few years trying to bring down all the illegal grows. Woodward says his department has made hundreds of arrests and dropped the number of farms in the state from 8,400 down to about 2,100.
We do have ongoing investigations all over the U.S. working with our federal partners to go after the higher-ups. But those higher-ups are typically not hanging around these farms here in Oklahoma, so it's not like we're getting the head of the snake every time we hit a farm. But every time we hit one, we're unplugging a critical part of the rest of that particular cell group that's operating in Oklahoma.
For Straight Arrow News, I'm Lauren Keenan. If you want more on this story, download the Straight Arrow News app or visit SAN.com.